Welcome, Gods of War fans, to our second podcast that we're doing. Daytime podcast, thanks to COVID, that gives me some free time from work. Before we start the podcast, we myself and Terence, we feel from Gods of War side, firstly, that we need to extend our condolences to one of our fighters who sadly lost his life last week, to Naren Swartz's family from the Black Dragons under Coach Rod Young. Naren was one of our fighters that fought at the last event, had a very impressive win over Faustino Fortuyn, and sadly passed away last week. So our condolences to Naren's family. We wish them all the best, and our condolences to the whole Black Dragons team and to Uncle Rod Young. All of the best there. How do we start this podcast, Terence, without talking about Khabib? That's the main thing to talk about.
What a weekend for MMA. Eh? We had some stunning knockouts on the card at the UFC. But yeah, the highlight of the night was definitely Khabib. Eh?
I mean, you can just see Khabib is on the next level. I mean, you go and look about it, and Terence and I off set at a bit of a debate. We'll continue it, yeah. Like the thing is, we all had high hopes for Justin Gaethje. We really all did, and I still enjoy Justin Gaethje as a fighter.
Yeah. I mean, he blew me away with the Ferguson fight. He blew me away completely.
Yeah. There's just something about Justin Gaethje that I like. He goes in there, he bangs hard. He's actually got very, very good wrestling, and in the first round he managed to stuff quite a few takedowns from Khabib. But Khabib, I think we can all agree now that he's retired, just on another level.
Yeah,
he's just on another level.
And I don't want to get into the whole John Jones controversy because I'm not a big fan of John Jones. I mean, he's pound for pound. I looked at the ratings today. He's now been placed as number one pound for pound fighter in the history of the UFC.
How do you argue that? I mean,
you can't.
You can't.
And he has won me over as a fan. I wasn't a very. I mean, I enjoy any good UFC fight, but he's won me over as a fan.
I do. I'll say the same. I was always very vocal, saying he does what he needs to do to get the win. He can suffocate you. He can maul you, like he says, and we can all joke, "I will smash you. I'm going to smash you." Like when he says, "I'm going to smash your boy." You can believe him. He's gonna smash you. I mean, he just walked. He walked down Gaethje.
Yeah,
with that KO power, he walks him down.
And I obviously, I get a lot of people chatting to me about the fight, and one of the things that the guys kept saying, they kept saying, but this, and he just walked in, and I said, no, he was cutting off the ring, and he's a master at it. And I mean, you saw that at one stage, Gaethje ran.
Yeah.
And it's not because Gaethje was running away, because he wasn't. He was just trying to position himself better into the center of the cage, so that he didn't have his back against the cage. Because once you're back against the cage, it could be it's game over.
It's game over.
He's just going to maul you and keep going for the takedowns, and you can't defend a takedown against the cage.
No, absolutely.
You can, but not against the
Khabib.
Level fight of Khabib.
No.
So what a lot of people don't understand or miss, guys that are not skilled in fighting or training in the fighting game, it was a very clean, clinical, technical performance from Khabib to cut him down. That cage is big. That cage is big.
And to do that with 2 broken toes and a broken bone in your foot, I mean, these are the type of things that athletes hide. I mean, we've been involved with fight camps as well, and we always say it: if you finish as a fighter, if you go into the cage or into the hexagon, octagon, and you do not have a little niggle or an injury, you just have to question your fight camp, because fight camps start off slow and easy, the intensity picks up, and your coach plans your peak. It gets tougher and tougher, but they plan that peak. So obviously he was on the way up, and the broken bones in the foot was never going to stop him.
I think it was a week or two before the and let this be a message to to your amateur fighters that we deal with. You'll always have a niggle. You're always going to have a problem. There's always going to be something sore.
Yep.
And it's the same as that what's his Medvedev? What's his name? Medvedev. I mean, that guy, where he just flies, falling, looking for a fight.
Not Medvedev. I think that's a tennis player. Chimaev.
Sorry, man. Chimaev. I'm going to edit that.
No, you don't have to edit it out. You can leave it there. It's Chimaev.
Sorry, man. Chimaev. I mean, the guys that want to fight, and Khabib is just proven that once again,
Yeah.
going to the next level status. Nothing is going to stop you from getting in that ring and proving your point
Yeah.
and proving to the world you are here to fight. You are the absolute
Yeah,
best.
absolutely.
This is what it's about. There's nothing's going to stop you.
But you know what? To Khabib, to his entire crew from Rajasthan, all the guys at AKA that he trains with. I know we can see the brotherhood that he's got with Daniel Cormier, the heavyweight. Those oaks are such a tight knit team, and from us at Gods of War, I just wish Khabib well. Thank you for honouring the sport and for
100%.
for being part of a 29-0 and going into the sunset, and for all the right reasons. So. All the best from my side to Khabib. I think on your side,
Yes,
it's the
100%.
same.
Yeah, no, look here, he's left such a mark in the sport.
Absolutely.
And I actually watched a documentary on his father a couple of days ago, and to see where they've come from, where they train. I mean, they've got a beach that they've been running on for forever. They all train on this beach, and they're still doing it to this day. Still sitting talking to the people. People actually come and sit and watch them train. And that's how the culture of the sports is lost in some places, but in other places like that, it's growing.
Entrenched. It's entrenched in who
it's
they
entrenched
are.
in them forever.
Every fiber of their being.
Yeah.
But it also proves to you dat as jy maar praat moet jy luister. I had a good chuckle when he said, no, I gave my mom my word, and I'm done with this, and I told her not to do. She doesn't want me to do this with my father. I'm not gonna do it. So you can be as badass as you want.
Yeah.
You can be 29-0, the best pound for pound fighter. It reminds me of when we were growing up as kids.
Yeah.
If the street light comes on and your mother calls you home, you go home.
No, your mother doesn't call you home. You make sure you're home.
Yeah, you make sure if your mother calls you, you're already in trouble. So that's a good chuckle. But big up and big respect to Khabib. What an awesome career. There's nothing left to say.
The sad part is we don't get to see him fight again. And the sad part is it's I left the lightweight division open again.
But before we get to lightweights, Khabib stole the show, him and Gaethje.
Okay.
But I was super, super impressed with Robert Whittaker against Cannonier.
Yes, I thought Cannonier had that fight in the bag before the fight.
No.
My money was on him.
You lost money again. You lost money again.
Having bad picks lately.
No, look, I mean, Robert Whittaker, we all saw him, we all watched it together. We saw him slip against Israel Adesanya. And he took his loss there. And, by his own admission afterwards, he said in the post-match conference that he thinks that he now has a few more tricks up his sleeve. He's sharpened his tools. He's expanded on his arsenal of stuff that he can take. Easy will never be an easy fight. So, Whittaker, super impressive performance. He said there, they asked him, hey, are you keen on a rematch with Izzy? And he said, you know what? For now, his immediate plans is to go home, spend Christmas with his family and his kids, and what next year brings. And he said, and this I had to laugh. He said, he's a true warrior, and he's like, that's the way warriors are. Him and Izzy will meet again. What the UFC has got planned, they must not do their plans, but he said that whether they meet each other in the octagon or whether they meet each other in a parking lot somewhere someday, his path and Izzy's path will cross one more time, because as a warrior, he owes it to himself to try and avenge his loss. So
I don't think beating Cannonier was easy.
No, I don't.
I rate Cannonier quite good, and I'd also like to see how he bounces back. Because he's one of my favourite fighters at the moment.
He is. I mean, fighting across 3 weight divisions to eventually end up in the middle.
He started up as a heavyweight.
Then he came light heavy. Then he came down. So
I think maybe I speak under correction. Maybe he also needs to find where he wants to be. Because sometimes.
But he's had his best results at middleweight.
Yes, this is what I've seen here. But maybe he's not feeling comfortable. I don't know. But I also think middleweight's the right
weight
place
for him. But the thing is with Robert Whittaker, I mean, that's to me, and I mean Dana White is certainly not listening to me, but to me that fight makes a lot of sense for Izzy again right now, or for the organization. If you can put up Izzy Adesanya against Robert Whittaker too, I think it's going to be a tough fight. And now there's all the rumors, is Izzy going up a weight class to meet John Jones at light heavy, whatever he's going to do. And Whittaker said straight, Izzy can go do what he wants to do. They pass or cross. He was like, he's not in any immediate rush. That's what Robert Whittaker said. He's going home. He's spending Christmas in Oz. He's spending it with his family, with his kids. He's taking some time off. And next year he'll look at whatever contracts and whatever fights pops up. But he just said, if Izzy wants to go do the super fight for the big money against John Jones, go and do it. We'll square up one day and we're going to try and avenge that loss. So now, lightweights. Lightweights. I just wanted to bring in there Whittaker.
So I did let that. So Cannonier, and Whittaker was a good fight. And I hope Cannonier bounces back.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Because he's like one of my favorites. And that will be an interesting rematch, because I think Whittaker, and especially from a loss, you seem to work out what works and what doesn't work, and you might change a bit of game plan and tactics, and who knows, might have a complete...
You just mustn't pull a Paulo Costa, because I mean, if what he's bounced back in, he needs to back his game plan.
Yes, 100%. That is,
But with lightweights, if we go back, focusing on the lightweight division after Khabib's retirement, to my mind, there's only really 4 guys in the mix that you can consider, unless I'm missing one. And please let me know in the comments if I'm missing somebody super impressive at the moment. But I mean, you can look at Conor, who's back after the Cowboy win. He's running his mouth a lot. I suppose he's got the money and the technique behind him to do so. But him and Dustin Poirier, who's the other name in the hat, has both been choked out by Khabib, and they're going to take each other on in January. Ferguson is the other name in the hat, who was beaten by Gaethje. Now, on paper, if you wanted to make this fair, in my opinion, you go and say, okay, the winner between McGregor and Poirier gets to fight... gets to fight Ferguson first, and the winner there gets a shot at Justin Gaethje. But that puts Gaethje on the touchline for way too long. And I don't think they're going to reintroduce that belt early next year. And I think it is only fair that Gaethje be in that mix. So
definitely. Well, I don't think that's even going to be called into question. I mean, I think Dana White's going to go straight for fight between the winner of Poirier and McGregor. That's what I think is going to happen.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Are they not going to hold up the division that long? If in January there's a winner, what's the turnaround by April?
No, it just also makes a good fight on paper. I mean, I'm thinking McGregor's going to take that. We don't know,
Against Dustin, he's beaten him before, but that was a long time ago. Yeah. And Dustin Poirier has definitely evolved since his first loss to McGregor.
The last excuse when he lost against Khabib was they were out drinking the night before. So that like
that, in some parts of this country that enhances your performance.
So besides all the stupid excuses, because it's a stupid excuse. I mean, he's a pro athlete.
Yes, no, exactly.
And if you didn't come prepared for the fight, then it's your problem.
I agree with you 100%.
I don't take it away from Khabib for beating you. But my biggest concern with a guy like McGregor, we've had this conversation. Why I actually had a bit of respect for him is because he stepped back in the ring after making all the big money. Because it's not easy to deal with that fame. When you are so famous, you also got a few little businesses on the side, and you're making big money.
Proper 12.
Yeah, proper 12. Yeah. I think I must buy you that bottle of whiskey.
I've had it before.
Had it before.
Yeah. Before.
Billy buy it for you.
Billy bought it for himself. He didn't even buy it for me. Thanks, Billy. He did give me a shot or two at his house. He was flying in from where Billy works all over the world, and he managed to pick up a bottle and bring it into the country before it landed. Yeah, I think joke on Billy. I think he paid 600-700 rand for it on the other side of the pond, and when it finally launched in Checkers Liquors, it was $2.99. So, but thank you. It sips well.
Yeah, so I got a bit of respect for McGregor stepping back in the ring after being a very successful businessman, because it's not easy with the little traps and things that you fall in being so famous. So I don't know who's going to step in the ring, what McGregor's going to step in the ring, and I'd have to see that first before I make a call.
You put your money on that one again. I'm going to go the opposite bit. No, look, the main thing is
your money on Poirier.
Hey, I'll actually, maybe what you and I should do on camera
Yeah.
is play little dares on each other. We choose an interesting fight. You back the one, I back the other if we disagree, and we have a little.
Like I say, it's a hard one. I don't
Yeah.
know what kind of McGregor is going to get into the ring.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it closer to the time. We'll get that
Yeah.
bet going on the next
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
But the thing is, Justin Gaethje was the interim champ. He needs, he's in the octagon according to my opinion.
Yes, yes.
And
No,
it's,
look, he's. If that fight happens, my money's on Gaethje, McGregor.
okay, I'm not taking the bet then. I'm not taking that bet.
Yeah,
then.
I said it first. So carry on. Yeah. Carry
I
on.
won't take that bet. I'll back the ref or something.
Yeah.
No, so you know what? Like you say, it depends which McGregor rocks up.
Mhm.
The McGregor that went 2 divisions deep. I don't think, and I say this with huge respect to Cowboy. I mean, Cowboy is going to be a Hall of Famer in the future. I'm pretty sure. One of the longest careers in the UFC.
Brilliant athlete.
But I think he's on the exit.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
A young, healthy, focused Conor McGregor finished him in the first round, which is that a true reflection?
No.
That's exactly it. Where
Not
Dustin,
for me. Like I said, not taking anything away from Cerrone. I mean, he is an absolute legend in the sport. And let me tell you, Saints, one of the guys, if I was in the UFC, I wouldn't want to fight because he's as hard as nails.
Yeah.
So yeah,
as hard as woodpecker lips.
so I wouldn't take anything away from him, but a true gauge for me would be the next fight for McGregor. And that's where I am with McGregor.
Yeah, I think January will tell.
Ferguson to me was such a big disappointment.
He needs to get. The thing is, Ferguson after his loss to Gaethje needs to notch up a win.
Yeah.
So
I would say if we get back in the game, get his head in the right place. I mean, to me, he was nowhere. And I'm not taking any away from the Gaethje performance, but he just, to me, just wasn't fucking interested in the fight.
Yeah.
And I've seen it before with him in other fights where he seems to, I don't know, lose his way or just do all the weird, funny stuff,
Well, the weird, funny stuff is how he trains.
Yeah.
He does weird, funny stuff. So you're going to fight exactly like you train. So if you're going to try weird and funny things, it might work for you sometimes. But the thing is, you go look at the tried, tested champions. As much as we don't necessarily enjoy his attitude, you look at a Henry Cejudo. It's work ethic. You look at a DC. It's work ethic. Same with Izzy. Same with John Jones and Khabib. It's that consistency. It's work ethic. It's rocking up every day. It is pitching up every day. It's mopping the floors with the team every day.
You've got to stay humble, man.
You've got to stay humble. And the thing is, so if work ethic is what is key, you can't go and do all these weird and way out things. It's going to get you to X amount of, it's going to advance you a little bit. But at the end of the day, if that really worked, the other gyms would follow suit and do all these flick flacks and jump jacks.
Well, that's always been a thing with me, is with a brotherhood, and staying humble. It's a mental thing. For me, fighting has always been a mental thing. When I fought, whether it be in the street or in a bar fight, whatever, it's always been a mental thing that I've really won in my head. And you got to have belief in yourself, and that belief comes to training with other people that are better than you, and you start improving your skills, and the more you're improving your skills, the better you're becoming. And I think that's where Ferguson is lacking. Maybe I could be wrong.
He isolates himself.
So I think that mental toughness is also must be trained.
He also doesn't do any sparring. You told me that.
No sparring.
No sparring.
Yeah.
So he doesn't believe in sparring, and you isolate yourself, and now you need to start questioning the results. I mean, you can't question after 1 or 2 performances, but he was
totally outclassed.
He was totally outclassed by Gaethje.
And it's always been my argument when I did karate and all these other martial arts, and I'm not knocking any martial arts. My personal experience was that your body changes, your technique changes when another body impacts you.
Absolutely.
So when I was doing all the different martial arts, I felt that I wasn't gaining that knowledge where there was an impact against my body, and I had to move realign my footwork to get my balance back so that I could throw the punch. And that to me has always been a little secret in fighting. If you can handle impact on your body and still return fire, which is what I see in the UFC. I mean, you see the guy throws a leg kick, they respond immediately with a straight left, straight down the center, just to make him not throw those leg kicks again, or a roundhouse kick that goes straight down the center. They're not even worried about this. You know, they're blocking it, but they're firing back. And I mean, that was what happened with Khabib. Every time the one threw a punch, they responded. So you know, like that to me cannot be trained against a bag, again in weights. You have to have a partner, and you have to have different size partners. And when you're fighting a taller than you, it impacts your body differently, or shorter than you. You know, all these things. So you know, that's just my opinion on the mixed martial arts side of things. So I do think Ferguson did an injustice to himself by not sparring with people. Just, I don't know, you know.
Methods to, you know, is there method to his madness? You'll have to see. But I'm saying if there was any tangible results from that, more people would start pulling their fighters from sparring, starting to do these weird and wonderful training sessions, which is fine for cardio and heart rate. But I mean, I do not want to have the cardio to endure 25 minutes with a beating. I would really try to finish the fight and get out of there before just getting absolutely mauled to death in 25 minutes. But you know, I know that I was a little bit busy and tied up work-wise, but fortunately the IMF had a good couple of webinars. You know, a lot of the stuff that was teaching us about is like concussions and how to better look after fighters, and you know,
they got it on as well. That was giving some good advice on the referee,
on the officiating side of things. But Terence, we don't have to deal with the boring stuff. That's more for the official. When I say boring stuff, that's now, you know, the hectic rules and what to look out for concussions and all of that. But one thing that the IMF addressed, and now MMa SA, Mixed Martial Arts South Africa, it falls directly under the unified rules of IMF that we adhere to in South Africa. So in terms of future events, Gods of War is rearing to go. We've got the fight camps that have returned under level 1, and the guys are allowed to train. And I think, if I speak under correction, make a little bit of contact here there. But maybe, Terence, you can just run us through why you haven't heard an announcement for a Gods of War event just yet.
Yeah, you know, from Gods of War side, you know, first of all, financially, it's a big burden on us, because we can't have crowds. They've ruled that out completely, no crowds.
No,
and
there's that 250 that you're allowed to, but that's 250 people inside the venue. We must cater for the fighters, the cornermen, the medics, all the officials. It leaves you with a crowd of less than 200 people on the night, you know.
Look, I speak under correction, but the thing is, crowds are still not going to be
Yes, you're
allowed.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. Yes, there's no crowds allowed. You're right. You're right.
And that's for all sport across the board.
Yes, you are 100% correct.
So even though the IMF says that we're allowed to the X, Y, and Z, we still have to fall under the local sporting codes and the local lockdown rules.
Yes.
Okay, so crowds are not allowed, and that's the problem number one. And you know, the problem with streaming that I'm finding with streaming, you know, the South Africa is still not there yet as terms of viewers, enough viewers to sit down and actually watch fights. It's growing.
Yeah, the sport's young though.
It's growing.
But you're not going to get Oaks to put their details, credit card details online to watch the amateur event based on our little bit of focus group studies that we've done.
Yeah, because people are still afraid of that kind of purchase and all those things. So, you know, and we live in South Africa, so, you know, but anyway, all those little problems are over. And the big problem that we are sitting with, let's say we can host an event, I may suggest that we put the guys in a 2-week quarantine, okay, in a bubble. So, you know, that would mean that even the vehicles that are used have to be special. The drivers have to be under quarantine. Food has to get delivered. The people that are delivering the food need to be also under the quarantine rules. You know, and then after the event, the same rules will apply.
And COVID tests before?
COVID test. Everyone has to have a COVID test pre-fight and a COVID test after. Plus daily inspections on the temperature by a medical practitioner. You know, and this would be over 5-6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you know, if you're looking at you following the rules, two weeks plus a week maybe for the fight. Let's say.
Yeah.
You know, it's the cost involved is just too great.
Especially for an amateur organization.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Dana White, you have a lockdown in the States, and he says, okay, well, if I can't have it in the States, I'll go buy an island.
Yeah.
Put up a structure and I have events. You know, so we Sorry, folks, we can't buy an island.
Yeah, no, not yet. Next week maybe. You know, you know, and for me and for Martin, our concern is for the fighters' safety first. The
Absolutely.
last thing we would want is to hold an event and one of our fighters or staff gets sick to a point where they're terminally ill and we lose a life, and that
No,
would be on
absolutely.
us.
No, absolutely.
That would be on us. And so that's my first priority. Money is the second priority. You know, we wouldn't want to tarnish MMA's reputation by having an incident like that.
No, you can't afford to take the risk.
We cannot take the risk.
Yeah.
You know, and as much as what we would love to have a Gods of War, there's just too many factors that are prohibiting us from taking that step. You know,
but
and the last thing I also want to do is mess the camps around. I mean, I don't want to put the guys into a 2-3 month camp and we have another lockdown.
Yeah.
You know, and it's beyond our control.
Yeah.
I mean, no one in the world knows. Nobody in the world is understanding what's going on. We don't either, and we don't profess to know anything. What we only have is guidelines to work with. You know.
But you know what? On that note, we're not going to dwell on
COVID-19.
COVID-19. I think everybody is properly hurtful, me including, because it's been 2 weeks that I cannot get to my office, my staff. It keeps me at home, which has got its own sets of challenges, especially if you've got 2 small kids. But you know what? Gods of War, we're not going anywhere. We're rearing to go. We're ready. We've inspecting our cage this week and just making sure that we, make sure everything is up to standard there. We're in constant communication with the camps that we normally use. We wish everybody well in the camps. We haven't gone anywhere. Gods of War is ready to have the event as soon as regulations allow us to, and it makes economical sense for us to do it. We'll do it. We cannot enforce these strict measurements. I mean, how do you place anybody in a bubble and all the food in a bubble and the drivers in a bubble and isolated cars? So the cars can only get used for the fighters during that TV. It's a logistical nightmare. The hotel needs to have. New York's need to have isolated in a hotel, and the hotel needs to have the same. It's all the criteria of the bubble. It is at the moment, to all the Gods of War fans, under the circumstances, it is still, there's too much red tape for an amateur event to have or an amateur organization, should I say, to have a successful event, both from a fighting point of view, from a financial point of view, and from a building the sport type of view. It's sad the camps are active, they're keeping ready, we keeping ready. And as soon as the virus subsides, or there's a vaccine for it, or we're hoping it's early next year, we'll be able to attack it and be one of the first organizations to pull the trigger and host an event. That you've got our word on that. Yes, we'll pull the trigger as soon as the trigger can be pulled. But on other exciting news, 31st, which is Saturday, in PE, Bay West Mall. We will be having our Harley Davidson draw there. As we explained last time, the tickets will be...
the draw.
Sorry, my mistake. Yeah. We will have the bike there so that you can buy tickets for the draw. Okay, so what we said before is that Gods of War is an amateur organization. We've just spoken about all the things that we need to do in these times. So the only thing that stops Gods of War from transitioning from amateur event to a pro event, or to host both on the same fight night, is capital. So we are doing a Harley Davidson giveaway draw. Contact, I think you can see all the details on the screen already.
It'll come up on the screen.
It'll pop up on the screen if it hasn't popped up a few more times. So what you can do is you can contact us. You can buy the tickets for the Harley. Only 5,000 on sale. One of the 5,000 people will win it. It is a second-hand motorcycle that has been customly branded and customized for Gods of War. So it will be a unique Harley Davidson that is tailor-made, not tailor-made for Gods of War, but it's nicely branded. Good quality, fat boy Harley. Come get your ticket at Bay West. Say how's it to Terence and myself. We will be there. And hopefully we can take the money, roll it into Gods of War, and bring some proper
fights to
pro fights to PE. I think we'll be the first organization, or we're planning to be the first organization to have a pro MMA tournament. Maybe not one fight, but if we can have a pro event in PE, that's what we're going for. Let us know in the comments who you would like to see. Any pro fighters particularly that you would like to see from around South Africa that wants to come in and have a show.
They'll be exciting. I mean, there's so many names we can throw in that. I'd like to see what the Gods of War fans say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
before we sign off, have you ever thought why Dana White is in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and those places? Why Fight Island is over there?
He enjoys sweating. It's hot.
You know, I was over in Abu Dhabi many years ago, but like 2009, 2010, and the following that they've got there is massive.
Yeah, but that you can. It's evident from Brave.
Yeah, it is massive, and your Brave has capitalized on it. UFC's only coming to the party now, but I mean, he wants to be in the US. I mean, that's it. You know?
Yeah.
But let me tell you, saying the fighters that's coming out of places like where Khabib is coming, like Kazakhstan and all those funny places there, they're all migrating over to Abu Dhabi. They get picked up there. They've been doing this for years. And you're going to see, I mean, you know, there's a big, especially in the grappling tournaments.
Yes,
there's a big demand for that over there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting what's going to be happening over the next couple of years. We're going to see more and more jiu-jitsu guys, more and more wrestlers coming out of all those little final states.
UAE.
And yeah, it's going to be interesting times. So the you know, like the UFC has always gone through stages. I mean, when in the early stages, the jiu-jitsu guys came in and changed the game. Okay, you know, the Lorenzo Gracies and all those guys came in, and all the actual stand-up guys was getting slaughtered, and then the stand-up guys started changing their game. Then the wrestlers came in. At one stage, every division winner was a wrestler. You know, so and now it seems to be going back to that combination of wrestling and jiu-jitsu. You know, it's starting to lean that way because there's such a big influx of it. You know?
But you know what? We need. I mean, I know that Brave came into South Africa, and EFC is our only pro organization as far as I know. There's a couple of guys that are sticking their hands up that might want to try go pro or PFC with Neville and them from Cape Town. You know, guys like that, they've got the means and the capability to do so. But I think we want to pull the trigger as well, and it might be very lucky for me. I know I'm a fan to maybe entice a guy by the name of Gordon Rage Rootman to come back to PE.
I know you're a big fan.
I'm a big fan. Man.
He always talks to me about it.
No, Rage is lekker. Like, he just wants to stand and bang, man. Like, that's what we want to see. You know, sometimes it's nice to watch a technical fight. Rootman is going to come and he's just going to want to bang, you know. So wherever the fight might go, and then, you know, finding out from the fans, you know, that I think that's a middleweight bout. Who we can get in, even if we end off a Gods of War with like 1 or 2 pro fights at the end of the evening, and you know, just start whetting the people's appetite for it. So in order to make it happen, we came up with an idea to raise the capital for it. It's the Harley Davidson exclusive draw, 200 Rand a ticket. There's 5,000 tickets available. If you buy a ticket, you got a 1 in 5,000 shot of hitting the bike and taking it home. We will be in Bay West Mall this Saturday, 31 October. We will be at the entrance very close to the game. Entrance number 3, very close off the food court. Come and have a chat with Terence and myself.
Who doesn't want a Harley? Huh?
Hey, man.
$200 gets you a Harley Davidson. It's as simple as that.
Well, a chance at a Harley.
Chance. $200, yeah, it gets you a Harley. You win it, you got it.
If you win it, it's applicable to you. So, guys, we're going to be there. Fans, pull in if you guys can. Please do us a favor. Like it, share it. Make other people aware of it. We're going to plow everything back straight into the event. It's time for us to grow bigger, better, stronger, faster. Yeah. And yeah, we'll see everybody at Bay West on Saturday morning. We'll be there all day, 8:30 to 5. Maybe I'll nick off an hour or 2 there, and I'll leave all TC behind, depending. Jokes aside, we'll both be there from 8:30 to 5. We'll see you guys there.
All right, good luck out there today.
Cheers.